Welcome back to episode 104 of AyyScare Plays Front Office Football 8. And we are looking at the Jacksonville Cougars going into our fourth season together. So far, we've increased each season. We went from 3-13 to 6-10 to 8-8. And we're now going into season 4, and we're hoping to improve. So, similar to last time, I took a little bit of look at stats off recording between seasons here just to kind of give us a idea of what we're going to be doing and things like that. So let's take a quick look at the scouting page here and touch on what I think we need to work on. So quarterback, still a issue for us. I'm not going to say that it is the biggest issue. This Casey Loftlin guy that we brought in last season, he did have a decent season for us. I'm not going to say that it was a great season because it wasn't, but it was an above average season. He went for 3,200 passing yards, threw for 16 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. So even though that's not a great season, it's a heck of a lot better than what we got our first 2 seasons. So I did go through all the other teams, and Casey Lofton is well, at least according to our scouting staff, so basing it on their numbers for each of the quarterbacks, he's basically a bottom 5 starting quarterback in the league. So not ideal. He's also 35. We have no idea really what his future potential is. I mean, at 35, normally quarterbacks will last a little bit longer than that, but we could be looking at him retiring soon. The other big thing that I'm a little bit worried about is we signed him to a 2-year deal, and this is something that I don't think we've seen yet. Since he actually did have a decent season, next year we are looking to pay him. Let's see here. How do I see this? I saw it a little while ago when I was doing this before starting recording, but now I don't remember how I got there. In short, we're looking to be paying him view contract. There it is. So we're going to be paying him $15 million next year. Now, if we compare that to the franchise salaries, you'll see that that doesn't even put him at a top 20 quarterback. In a situation like this, I can't promise that this is going to happen, but chances are when we hit late free agency, so the second phase of free agency, he's probably going to hold out on us. Basically, he's going to say, hey, I did really well last year. I'm not going to play this year unless you pay me more money. And simply put, I'm not sure that I want to. As I mentioned, he had a decent year, but not great enough that I want to he'll probably end up requesting to be like a top 10 paid quarterback, which is not really something I want to do. We need to get ourselves another offensive weapon somewhere, whether that's a more reliable running back, whether that's another wide receiver. So that's something that we need to look into. I do think so. Even though our offensive line overall, there was an injury here, that's why we don't have our other guy that was like a 50 rating. Even though we have all of these front linemen that are 50 to 65 or so, I think adding a stud to our offensive line would do us wonders. So another thing that's kind of on my checklist there, defensive front, really not worried about it at all. To be quite honest, since I have so much of the defensive front in here right now, you'll see we have the rookie defensive end that we signed last year. He's not starting for us because our defensive ends are already stacked. And then we also have that other middle linebacker who's considered good. And then we have another outside linebacker that's considered good. This might be a case where I look into trading to hopefully get us some other weapons elsewhere. And then, of course, as we talked about last season, our secondary is atrocious. So another area that we definitely need to work on. If we look under, where was this? I believe I did it through here. Free agents. I don't actually think I need to be on free agents. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to come down here to recommend player. And I was looking at this before I started recording. So here I'm going to do quarterback that are already on rosters. I'm going to do future potential and click search. So this will give me a list of at least what my scouting staff says are the best quarterbacks, both kind of in the current, but mainly based on their future projections. And what I noticed looking down this list is right here. So Carolina Hillcats, they have this guy, Ruben Winslet, who's 6 years in the league and rated at a 64. And if I click on him, he has had he's been their starter for 2 years. Not done outstandingly, but he's done better than our guy. So can't complain on that front. If we look down the list, though, they potentially, here they are again, Carolina Hillcats, they potentially nailed a late round pickup here. So 2 seasons ago in the 6th round, they drafted this guy, Middleton, and he still has a lot of areas where he needs to improve, but our scouting staff thinks that he has a potential to be up to a 54. Depending on how free agency and the draft are looking, I might look into trying to trade for this guy. This would be a good guy to potentially ride our bench for 1 year, and then hopefully he could take over starting for us next season. So that's just something that I saw when looking through things off camera here. So yeah, we'll look into that. But for now, let's go ahead, hop into things. End season. In terms of our staff, I think that I'm actually happy with how things went last year. So I'm going to keep our defensive coordinator. I might look into replacing our assistant coach. We'll see where that ends up. And hop in here. Head coach. Our guy's considered the top option still, so I'm happy with that. Our offensive coordinator, there is one guy that's considered slightly better than what we already have. That being said, I think our offense did increase enough last year that I'm going to give this guy one more shot. Defensive coordinator, yeah, he's still the top by a long shot for our team. So, not changing anything there. All right, so for assistant coach, let's say we do have to bring somebody else in. I don't remember what our guy's name was, but normally if they have 1 year left, that means another team can snag them. So I'm guessing our guy was one of these guys. I honestly don't remember what his name was. So for assistant coach, actually the top two are both primary on QB, which is kind of really nice since that's kind of what I'm hoping to be able to develop here. I'll just take the top rated guy. Let me look at him one more time. He has that player development and young talent, which is exactly what I want. Since he's our assistant coach, it would be nicer to have some scouting and interviewing ability, but things like play calling, discipline, motivation, I don't think that these matter too much for your assistant coach. Play calling is generally going to be your coordinators, and then I believe discipline and motivation is mainly your head coach. Now, assistant coach might play into that. I'm not 100% sure, but I am going for that player development on a quarterback, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this guy in. All right, strength is considered top still, so not too much of a change there in our staff. Go ahead, recommend ticket pricing. Oops, I meant to click submit. There we go. Let's make sure we're not paying anybody too much, and this is actually something else I was thinking about. So, we talked about Sean Kremers, right? We have Johnny McClay, who's our other inside linebacker, who's really good. We then also still have, actually, we have two. We have this guy, this Mo, yeah, that guy. um, he's considered a potential to be a 61. And then we also have this guy who's right now set at a 55. And we'll be able to re sign Mo. So I'm really torn on what to do with Sean Kremers. Since he does have the little white notch, this means we are technically losing him this year. However, we can use our franchise tag to franchise him. Now, in case anybody doesn't know how this works, franchising means if you're about to lose a player, like we are with Sean Kremers, and we want to sign him to basically a 1 year deal, we can pay him a franchise salary, which is, let's see if we can find that again here. Here we are. And actually, I think it says it down here. Yep. Franchise players earn a 1 year contract at the salary equal to the average of the top 5 players at their position. So, if we wanted to keep Sean Kremers on for 1 more year, we could pay him about $18 million, which, when you compare it to what we're paying some of our players, that is nothing. And if you remember, last year he was actually asking to get paid somewhere in like the $35 million range. That's what his contract was supposed to be for. Um, Only thing that I'm a little bit, actually down here it says if franchised to 27 million. Oh, because he identifies as an outside linebacker. Okay. So that explains why. Okay, so it is actually going to be a little bit more than I was thinking. Um, but 27 million for a guy, if we look at his stats, past 5 years, right? Basically started every game for us. Went for 4 100 plus tackle seasons. Throws in a sack every now and then. He doesn't tend to be a good pass cover guy. He's only gotten one interception in that time, or two. But, you know, when you're getting 100 tackles, I don't think that we can really complain. The question is it worth paying this guy 27 million when we clearly have 3 people that can fill in that role? Now I realize they're not going to fill it in as well as Kremers was, but I don't think that that's worth 27 million. Um, Admittedly, if it was the 18 million, I would probably do it, but the fact that I it's actually the 27 million value does give a red flag to me because we are going to have to re-sign a couple of our guys and we're going to want a little bit for free agency. So I'm not going to use the franchise tag on him. If we scroll down the list here, we're going to be losing that running back that when we started had just come off of a 1,200-yard season. Since then, he's been meh. So, not planning to sign him. All right. And then if we keep going down the list here, now I'm just basically looking to see if there's anybody that we're clearly overpaying for. Let me sort of by experience here. Casey Lofton, we're going to be keeping him on. That guy we re-signed last year. That's fine. The 2 safeties, we need them just in case there's nothing that we can fill in with. Nose tackle. Yeah. All right. More than likely, we're not paying these guys too much. So let's go ahead, hop in to begin free agency. All right. So now we have to go through re-signing. How did our kicker do last year? All right, he increased back to 81%, kicked 70% from beyond 50, didn't miss a field goal or a point after. That's the kind of kicker I like. Let's go ahead, negotiate his salary. Yeah, he wants to be basically like a top 10 kicker in terms of pay. That's fine with me. He's doing his job, so can't complain. Not gonna bother redoing either of them. All right, potentially big contract here. This is the outside linebacker that we signed in our first season together, and he's now up for his first kind of big pay contract. Now, thankfully for us, he hasn't actually started like any kind of full season or anything like that for us. So hopefully he's not going to ask actually for too much. Let's see. Yeah, he's not asking for much at all. All right, definitely keeping you on board. DJ Martin is up for a contract, so let's see him. He's asking for 23 million bonus, but then he's asking for up to 15 million. He's not even asking to be a top 20 wide receiver, and I think he's definitely a top 20 wide receiver in this league. So we'll go ahead and re-sign him. The fullback that we drafted in our first season together is up for contract. He's again asking for almost nothing. We do want to sign this other young middle linebacker. He only wanted to do a 1-year deal, which is a little bit of a downer, but that's okay. I'll also re-sign this corner. And our long snapper is extremely good at long snapping, so I'll go ahead and get him locked in for 2 years. All right, that is basically all that we should have to do here this year. Actually, wait, there's this outside linebacker. He'll sign with me for 2. Perfect. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead, close out of this. Let's take a quick look at the draft. Of course, the 1 year that I don't have a top 5 or top 10 pick, there are 3 quarterbacks in this draft. What are the chances? All right, we have pick 12. We'll see how that turns out. Let's take a look at free agency real quick. Right now, the game says that we need defensive tackle, quarterback, reserve fullback. I wonder why the game recommends reserve fullback so much. I feel like that's not a position that I would most of the time deem as a absolute need for a team. Like I feel like our secondary is a much bigger need than a reserve fullback, but I guess we'll see. Let's see who is on the block this time. Any quarterback? One quarterback, but he's only rated at a 39-43, so no real upgrade for me there. 38 and a 39. Yeah, so no real great quarterback option for me here in free agency. But let's go ahead, go through the first stage. That was us just re-signing. We already did that. And let's take a look at the gray sheet. So there is another wide receiver that we could bring in. He's had 3 good years. Let's say he got injured 1 year. And actually, in only 1 season, no, actually, he never played all of a season. He actually doesn't have that good of touchdown numbers either. I'll be honest, this guy looks like another, probably like a top 20 wide receiver in that range. Never had more really than 1,000 yards. Only in his rookie season he got more than 4 touchdowns. What's he asking for? He's asking to be the top paid wide receiver in the league. Not happening, especially since I don't have a top quarterback right now. There is a tackle here. Looks like we're looking at another injury-prone player, potentially. What's he asking for? He's not asking for much of anything. I'll go ahead and put in an offer on him. 2-year, oops, I added one extra zero there. 2-year, $16.5 million. That could be the bolster to our offensive line that I was talking about. Our running back is up here, and he's still graded very well, but I feel like our staff is just wrong on this. His stats are just so bad. I'm not re-signing him. We don't need anything defensive line related. All right, next round. All right, we did get that tackle. So that's going to hopefully bolster up that line for us a little bit. Break sheet again. We'll see how much Kremers goes for. Let's see what he's asking for. So you can see he's already asking for less than what he was asking to be paid last time. But since we already have all those other options for our linebackers, I'm not going for that. Bobby Vanderkloot, a cornerback. He started most games. He has decent interception numbers. 80 tackles for a corner is pretty damn good. Again, this could be a guy that bolsters up that cornerback and our secondary. Let's see what he's asking for. He's not actually asking for much. He's not even asking to be a top 20. So let's see if we can get him over. We'll offer 14, 16, and 18. 3 years, $68 million. Let's see if he does it. What else do we have here? Tackles. Yep, that's really it that's of interest to me here. Oh, we didn't get him, did we? Oh, another team offered him about $4 million more. All right. You'll see here nobody actually paid Sean Kremers what he was asking for. And he's already dropped a little bit in price. So I wasn't alone in my thoughts on him. See, here's another running back. See. This is one of those ones. If you look at this guy early on in his career, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of his first 8 seasons, 7 of them were for over 1,000 yards. He had 3 seasons back to back of 1,500 yards rushing. Players like this drive me insane because looking at this, I'm like, this is absolutely a guy that I should get because he is killing it and he's had a great career. But if we look here, has not reliably started. Now, normally that means that, actually, that's actually pretty nuts. So he went for 1,500 yards and he didn't even start most of those games. So he was probably a split back. They must have had a ridiculous running game going. He actually just 2 years ago still averaged 5.5 yards a carry. What's he asking for? I normally don't like re-sign or signing running backs, especially a 35-year-old running back. He's only asking for a 1 year contract. You know what? I'll give the guy a 1 year contract. A 1 year, $8 million contract. What else do we have here? Another corner. Maybe this guy will sign with us. Overall, decent numbers. Not too great in tackles, but he also didn't start all these games, so yeah, we'll go ahead. Let's give him a. Let's see if he'll do a 3 year deal with us. And we'll give him 5 mil, 7 mil, 9 mil, 27 million. Oh, he might be a distraction. All right, I don't want that. Here's a wide receiver, an older wide receiver, but he could be a good option for us to have across from DJ. He's never really had a great season, actually. He's got that courage, big play, third down catching. I mean, his scouting looks fine. Let's see what he's asking for. Again, almost asking for nothing, so let's go ahead. If I can get my quarterback some extra weapons here. All right, let's see here. Watanabe, I don't know how to say that name. Watanabe? That's our young tight end, and he expressed disappointment. So let's actually not sign this guy. All right, well, that basically clears out 4. We got that running back. All right. Let's double check. Yeah, so we need some tight ends, wide receivers, and then we're basically free to do whatever we want. I still think if we can grab a quarterback and another offensive weapon, if there's a stud offensive lineman, and secondary. So let's hop over and look at the draft for a second here, and let's run our interviews. Now, there's no chance that the top quarterback is going to still be there. 0 chance of that at 12. I am probably going to interview the other 2 that are on this list, though. AyyScare, it looks very promising. Mark him. His stats aren't as good, but he's considered as scouted. Looks like mainly he would be like a scrambling quarterback, mainly doing screen passes, which not exactly my cup of tea. I'll mark him in red just so that we remember him, but not exactly my cup of tea. Here's a guard that could. All right, see this kind of guard right here, AyyScare. He's cheerful. He has great looks there. This is the kind of guy that could definitely bolster our offensive line. So let's mark him. There is a safety here. Looks promising. He's considered hard to read, but all of his bars stayed very high. How big is this guy? 6'1", 209. Yep. Mark him as red. And then we should probably get one more player up here that we feel confident in, just in case the other ones that we have highlighted go. There's a crap ton of cornerbacks. I don't think that all of these would go this early. So maybe somebody like Nicholas Patino here. He's considered underrated. Perfect. All right. So we have 5 players scouted now. At least one of them should fall to us at 12. So I think that I'm okay now with our 12th overall pick. After that, guessing what players are going to be available here is a real crapshoot. So I'm going to just go to a position that we need and scout a bunch of players that are in a range that will definitely have options. So let's scout a couple safeties. All right, very promising. Considered overrated. Let's not go with him. Lucas Money. I like that name. His stats don't look too great though. Here's a guy good for our pass, which is really what we need to focus on. It's considered overrated though. Although at overrated, his man-to-man and bump and run are both still ridiculously high. I'll mark him as red. Pretty high across the board. Overrated, and those bars dropped a little bit. Let's not do him. Ooh, play diagnosis, punishing hitter, interceptions. I don't know how I feel because these are somewhat low, but these are all so high. I'll mark him as red. If he falls to maybe like 3rd, 4th round, maybe we'll go for him. Let's see if there's any decent centers that we could get late. This guy we probably wouldn't be able to get anyway, but I'm going to interview him. There we go. The Miles Borders. As scouted. Perfect. All right, so we looked at those for the top. Then we have some centers that we're looking at and a couple safeties. All right. Let's go in here. Let's run a couple more of the free agency and then we'll hop into the draft itself. Where did Sean Kremers ended up signing a 3-year deal for $121 million? All right, well, if another team wants to pay him that, they're more than welcome to. Here's another wideout, Pat Brewer. He just came off of a 1,200 yard season. He did have 15 drops, which is not ideal, but he's not even asking to be a top 20, so let's mess with his contract a little bit here. 3-year, $50 million. Again, we need another offensive weapon, so, and considering we didn't scout any wide receivers, all right, we signed him. Perfect. Our offensive weapons are getting a little bit old. That's okay though. We kind of knew that was coming. All right, and let's try to grab 1 or 2 more here. Here's a guard. He's asking for quite a bit. I feel like our offensive line is decent enough, so he wouldn't really be an upgrade, I guess is what I was trying to say. Here's a tight end that's really good at route running, which is the opposite of our young tight end. Our young tight end is extremely good at blocking and getting downfield. So maybe adding a route running tight end would be beneficial for us. Let's go ahead, offer this guy more than he wants. And $6 million. So we're offering him a 2-year, $15 million deal. And he signed. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead. We'll now, let me just look at the final bits of the gray sheet here. Yeah, nothing else that really stands out to me here. So we'll go ahead, skip remaining stages. All right. Picks like pick 12 always scare me because I've had it in the past where like the 4 or 5 players I scout do all go, and then it's a complete crapshoot since I haven't interviewed anybody up there. So let's hope that that doesn't happen. Set it on faster. We'll set it on fast for this first one. Let's see how it goes. That quarterback, wow, top team went cornerback over that defensive end and quarterback, running back. Ooh, it looks like that pick got traded. There we go. There goes the top quarterback over to Buffalo. Next quarterback, San Fran. Another corner. Another corner. Teams seem really cornerback hungry in the past couple of drafts we've done. Safety, running back, tackle. Baltimore goes with a... Oh, they traded it to Cleveland. Cleveland goes defensive end. Really quickly, that's actually nuts. So now it's our pick, but that's actually nuts. That defensive end, at least by adjusted grade, was considered the top player in the draft, and he lasted until pick 10. That's pretty crazy if you ask me. So now we have, I'm not bothering with the defensive tackles. So we have 2 of our picks still sitting here. We do have Nicholas Patino, who's the highly rated and underrated corner. We also do have this Jesse Stagville, who is considered a decent option, but if we look at his scouting numbers, I don't see this guy becoming like a top quarterback. I really don't. So I think I'm going to go with, I think what's going to be the more reliable pick here and pick us up Nicholas Patino, the corner. I'll switch over to fastest and run through this real quick. Look at the quarterback went the pick right after us. All right. That center is still there. So I'm always iffy about like going for like the 3rd safety in the list now, just because without getting like way too detailed into this, in my opinion, it's hard to know where exactly that player is going to fall to. As we can see here, there he is. And looking at adjusted, he's a good scroll down. Let's take a look at some of these quarterbacks we did not interview. Not too promising. Instead of just the quarterbacks for a second. Because maybe we'll just go for like a completely random quarterback and just hope that they work out. None of these looking that promising though. Yep. All right. Maybe there's a top wideout still on the board. I'm not sure if top is going to be the right word, but he actually has very decent stats, and he could be our punt returner too. That could be a good fill-in for kind of like our wide receiver 3, playing behind the 2 veterans. this guy actually is probably going to be a more. He's not going to be good at punt returns. He could be our kick returner, though. 6', 198. 6', 195. You know what? I said we go with the. Oh, but look at this guy. This guy's. This guy's a little bit shorter. He's 5'9". Didn't do as well on the 40. Did better on agility, though, and did better on strength. Fun. Sorry, I'm kind of hopping around right now because I'm actually not a huge fan of the pick right now. So I know that we pulled in that older running back. What is his endurance? He doesn't have the best endurance. Maybe we'll draft a young running back. Because right now, look at this guy. He had a ridiculous 40 time, high strength, and really good at third down running, which he would probably be our third down back this year with the other guy as our starter. Let's go with it. And then hope that the center's still there. Here we go. This safety is still available. So let's go ahead and select him and hope that that center falls to us in round 4. No! He won a couple picks before us. All right. Oh, look at that. We didn't scout this guy, but this guy actually looks hella decent. Let's go ahead and take him. Who's this guy, right? Because I looked at this guy earlier, yeah. Actually, this guy... Wait a second. Oh, in 8, I can look at them side by side. I forgot about that. That's one of the new features in 8. In 7, you couldn't do this. I mean, in the end, I feel like these are basically going to be identical. So actually, in that case, let's mark them both and see if one falls to round 5. Now let's just take another tight end, maybe? Actually, no, we signed a tight end. Is there any spot that we need to fill right now? We still need another wide receiver and a punter. All right, let's grab like top wide receiver on the board. Let's look at the top like 3 here. Yeah, I'll just go with the top guy. Holy crap, look at that guy's 40 time. He ran a 4.28. Alright, don't get distracted. Alright. Both still available. We'll go with the top one. And now at this point, I could draft a random punter. I feel like we're going to be better off just going with top on the board. Let me look at some of the quarterbacks just to see if there's one that looks like he fell through the cracks. To be honest, for a, what is this, 6th round pick? This doesn't look bad. Mark him real quick. Look at this guy. This guy doesn't look bad at all, actually. not real good at the 2-minute offense and reading defenses, but other than that, right click on him. All right. Um, top option right now is another defensive end. We really don't need that. I say we don't need that, but it's like, why the hell not just completely obliterate other teams with an absolutely stacked defensive line? The game always says that we need another defensive tackle. Yeah, you'll see here, it still says defensive tackle is our main thing. All right, let's grab the top defensive tackle left. Wow, this dude's actually hella decent. Okay. Select. And then with round 7, we'll see if Maurice Levine, he's still on here. Let's go ahead and select him. Right, let's go to begin late free agency. All right, let's take a look at our rookies. Let's see how we did here. All right, right now it's saying that corner we picked is going to become the top player on our team. And outside of that, it's not looking pretty. The center is going to become a 49. Yeah, basically everybody outside of that corner is listed as going to be like an average player. All right, hopefully we'll see some adjustments there after training camp. This does not bring up the question. It doesn't look like... Where's my quarterback at? All right, so Casey did not hold out on us. But do I want to see if Carolina will trade me? Let's see what Carolina needs right now. Carolina needs a running back, safety, cornerback. Damn. Okay. All right, let's continue a little bit of late free agency here, and we'll think about that in the back of our minds. We need a punter. Let's offer it to this rookie here. And let's also offer it to this guy. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this probably, but if that rookie punter ends up not being good after training camp, I want this guy as a backup. Here's another defensive tackle that we could bring in. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but one of my cats is meowing like a crazy cat. So, sorry if you guys can hear that in the background. Here are 2 young wide receivers that my scouting staff thinks basically fell through the draft. Let's go ahead and give them both an offer. And then there's another, should we offer something to another safety here? Let me see how our secondary is now looking after everything that we've done. So we have that rookie corner who's probably not going to be outstanding this year, but he should become outstanding. We have at least one other corner who's probably going to be upgraded to good before the season starts. Yeah, if we can pull in another safety, I think that we should do it. Offer him just a little bit more than he's asking for. And did any quarterback hit the market? It's decent. So look at this. Dan Fidrich, quarterback that slipped through the draft, potentially slipped through the draft, I should say. Um, he does actually look pretty decent. Let's give him an offer to play with us for at least the preseason and see if he amounts to anything. Then let's look at running backs here for a second, since our second round pick doesn't look too promising. Interesting. This guy was actually drafted, but I guess Houston already dropped him. Yeah, Houston already released him. So Houston basically said, yeah, we're going to use the seventh round on you. And no, you actually look like crap. So that's not too promising, but our scouting staff seems to think differently. So we'll give him a shot. And let's run through at least like 2 stages here. All right, let's see. One of the wide receivers signed, and the corner and safety both signed. Okay. Tackle signed, other wide receiver, punter signed. Okay. All right, everybody that we went for signed. Let's head into, how many people do I have on my roster right now? Let's see. Yes, we're at 61. That's going to be a good number to go into training camp with. We'll go into training camp, see how we're looking here. I'm still thinking in the back of my mind that we might go for that Carolina quarterback. Now, the unfortunate thing is that if he misses training camp and we have to bring him in like early season, he's probably not going to pan out this year, but we will see how things go. Short answer here is I think that our defense is just continuing to get even more stacked to a certain extent. I'm a big fan of having stacked defenses, but your defense, can't put up points like your offense can. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. We need a good offense in order to win. All right, we'll simulate the first week of the regular season. We lost and we only put up 6 points. Let's take a look at what our starting lineup looks like. So Casey Lofton is starting for us again, but he was actually downgraded to a 35. And our center was upgraded to a 71. Okay, I'm not complaining. That just threw me off. Okay. Yeah. Now I think it's really like, okay, quarterback, what's going on? Wait, what the hell? He threw 54 times? Wait a second here. The heck am I looking for? Game day. And then I'm looking for team summary. That's what I was looking for. Okay. All right, wait. Let's sit back and just look at how this first game went. For some freaking reason, our quarterback threw for 54 throws, which is ridiculous. And he did terribly in those 54 throws. That being said, though, look at this. Our running game spiked to far above what it's been the past 2 seasons. And that ball was spread around a lot. All right. I don't want to say this is, all based on just this one game. So let's run another 3 games and see how things are looking. We beat Detroit. We lost to Baltimore. And we lost to, what team was that? New Jersey. All right, let's go ahead. Look at team summary here. Okay, our rushing averages came back down to kind of what we would expect. Quarterback, not doing well at all. I might reach out to Carolina at this point. Let's see if we had any key injuries. Injury report. Sprained ankle. I'll be back in 2. So our really good young tight end is dealing with a deep thigh bruise, but should be full strength in 2 weeks. All right. Let's reach out to Carolina and see if they will part with one of their quarterbacks. Now, after training camp and stuff, my coaching staff is now saying he's only going to amount to a 48. That being said, this guy is still a third string for the Carolina team. Let's see if he will do something. Maybe I'll throw my backup quarterback at him. A second here. Oh wait, Riley Mathers got cut. Oh, that's rough. All right. We also have some conflicts. Actually, I'm noticing that as we're clicking along here. I'm actually not sure this is going to be worth it. Hold up, let me look at that conflict situation. Come on, Everett. What do you have against Vernon Huffman, man? Who the hell's Vernon Huffman? Here's my center. All right, you know what? I'll trade Everett over to Carolina. Let's see if we can get this guy off of him. I'll give you guys Everett. Look at that. He actually said you're close to a fair offer. All right. We'll throw in our 5th round next year. You're very close. All right. I'll give you my 4th round. Oh no, bro. If you're asking for like a 3rd, yeah, I'm not giving you a 3rd. Actually, I'll give you a 3rd if you give me your 6th. How about your 7th? Maybe I'll find diamond in the rough. Come on. All right. I think I'm going to do this because by the 3rd round, most of your picks are going to be diamonds in the rough anyway. And this should be a upgrade at least backup quarterback for me. And we're going to get rid of that conflict. All right. Let's go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline. Oh my gosh, we just put up 51 points. Who's our starting quarterback right now? Casey Lofton is still considered our starting quarterback. And something happened where he just went off for 51 points. Let's all right, he's playing better since we brought in the other guy. Our defense is still holding strong. Honestly, now if we look at all of these numbers, I mean, our defense I think is still a clear top 10 defense. Our offense is actually playing half decently this year. We just put up 21, 31, and 51. All right, maybe we're on a roll. Maybe we're on a roll. We're going to be going into our bye week here. Let's see. None of our wide receivers are like, well, the thing is that the ball's being passed around a hell of a lot. I was going to say none of our wide receivers are really going off, but if you look at like the targets, there's like at least 3 up here that are getting like equal targets. So that should be good. McCarter's the guy that we brought in, right? He's the 36-year-old. He actually has a broken hand. That's wonderful. Dotson, this is our fullback, right? Yeah, this is our fullback. And he's having the best, at least the best averages of his career by far. All right. It doesn't look like we're putting up that many sacks, although we're only 7 games into the season. Not too many interceptions. This guy already has 3 interceptions. Holy crap. Sweet. How's our young corner doing? Is that Patino? Oh, look at that. After the first training camp and preseason, he's now at a 86 future. Perfect. All right. I'm not trading anything right now. Let's go ahead and get through most of our season here. Back from bye. Going up against Buffalo. We almost beat Buffalo and they were like 7-1. So, all right. We beat them. We lost. We lost. We won. We lost. All right, we're at 6-7. Do we stand any shot at playoffs? Let's take a quick look-sees here. We still stand a... What the hell? Oh, wait, okay. We still stand a 29% chance. Not pretty, you guys, but let's see what we got. We lost. We won. And we won at 8-8. Not pretty. I'm assuming that didn't get us in. But holy crap, we made it. Okay, wait a second. I was not expecting that. All right, we made our first playoffs, guys. Let's go! Wait a second here. Wow, we made it into the bye. Or not the bye. We made it into the wild card at 8-8. Look at this. So many teams finished at like 7-9, 7-9, 8-8, but they didn't make it. Wow, that was by the skin of our teeth, you guys. But you know what? Once you make it into the wild card, forget what happened throughout the season. It's now game time to wrap this thing up. Let's do this. All right, now that we're in playoffs, I'm not going to call the plays, but we're going to hop into the scoreboard just so we can kind of follow along. I'm not going to do this like play-by-play or anything. It's going to be quick. So you guys will see here. We're going up against Cincinnati. Thankfully, they're the other 8-8 team. So, or actually there's 2 8-8 teams besides me. But let's do this. All right, we're going to turn off play calling for us, and we'll set it to be like hella fast. Set the fastest, and we're just going to keep an eye on the scoreboard. All right, instantaneously, we're 5 minutes left in the first, and we are down 14-0. Not a good start, but let's see what happens. 21-0. 21-3. All right, wait. All right, guys. It's almost the fourth quarter. 21-11. All right. See what we got. All right, we're down to 4 minutes left. Let's slow it down a little bit. All right, we threw something for 7 yards. We dropped something. 14 yards. 14. All right, we're in range now. This is going to be one of those hard times where the smart thing to do here is get the touchdown. We could kick the field goal, but if we can get the touchdown, it's going to be the better option. All right, we got a touchdown. Wait, did that get called back? All right, yeah, I guess the touchdown got called back. All right, it's a 1-point game, or a touchdown and point after game here. Let's see what happens, because I'm assuming this is going to be an onside kick. Here we go. Yep, they line up for the onside. Hold up. Whoa. We had a successful onside kick. Holy crap. Okay. All right. All right, we got to get a touchdown. No other option here. All right, 4th down. Bomb. Oh, ball turned over on downs. All right, guys. Well, that was actually hella exciting. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not. Yeah, obviously I would have rather won that, but I'm actually excited. That was a exciting way to go out this season. All right, let's finish off the playoffs here. Indianapolis took it this year. They actually beat Carolina, so there's that. Let's just take a quick look-sees at the team summary one time here before we close out. All right, as we kind of expected, hold up, I just actually realized, did that quarterback that we brought in from Carolina, did he start in the wild card game? Hold up. What the heck? Why is this looking at Jacksonville? Passing leaders. I know Casey Lofton did start for us. Okay, never mind. I just noticed Middleton is the guy that we traded for, and he actually did start a game for us. Not a pretty game, but he did start a game for us. All right. Running game still bad, but better than previous seasons. That ball really did get passed around this year. We didn't have a 100-yard or a 100 tackle defender, but our sack game did pick up here. Darren Canada went for 7.5 year after year. Our guy Jermaine still holding his own as our defensive end main. Let's go look if anybody made the Pro Bowl real quick. Hey, the fullback that we drafted, I guess it was 2 years ago now? 3 years ago? He made second team fullback. Only player. A little bit disappointing. I'm still waiting for us to have that like breakout offensive season where we see like 4 players make it in here, but hasn't happened for us yet. But guys, let's be real for a second here, right? We did better again. We still finished 8-8, but we made playoffs, and freaking we almost won that playoff game. I don't care what anybody says. Um, so next season, once again, we're kind of in this quarterback trap right now. We're not going to have a top pick next year either, so the quarterback situation is not looking any easier for us, but I'm proud. I hope you guys stick around. I hope you guys are here for the next episode. And until then, AyyScare out.